the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
And thank you for joining us for DC News Now. I'm Mark Hall.
And I'm Tosin Fakile. We're going to start things off with a check of your forecast.
Yeah, it was a cloudy, overcast day. Then the sun came out for a little bit. Meteorologist Damon Madsen joins us now. Damon, all in all, an okay kind of Monday.
Yeah, we're making out all right, especially after a stormy weekend across the DMV. Sunday in particular, very gray, soggy and stormy for many of us. But we've had that break. Nothing really happening so far today, but we're keeping a trend going here, folks. Yet again, we are looking at the chance of rain storms as we head into the late afternoon, early evening here. And as we look off to the west, there you go. We're starting to see some storms bubbling up across the eastern panhandle of West Virginia, down along the Blue Ridge as you drop south and west in Virginia. So slowly but surely, we're going to see activity ramp up, especially across our western counties as we head into the evening time. And there's more where that came from. A broken line of severe storms starting to show up across western PA over into Ohio and West Virginia. All those yellow boxes, a severe thunderstorm watch that was issued not for us in the DMV, but right on our doorstep off to the west. But we do have one other watch in place. Any of these storms that roll in tonight will have the chance for some heavy rainfall with them. So a flood watch has been issued until midnight west of I-81 here across Maryland, West Virginia, portions of Virginia as well. Given the recent heavy rain we've had from storms, plus what we could get tonight, flooding won't be that hard to come by if those storms do set up over the right locations. So heading throughout the rest of the evening, just gear up, especially if you are west of DC and I-95 for scattered showers and storms to roll on in and keep things a bit noisy to wrap up the day today. So we'll time out this first batch of showers and storms and when there could be some additional rain to kick off your Tuesday. That's all coming up in your full forecast here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. We'll check in with you soon. Developing now a violent day in the district. At least 7 people shot around the region this afternoon.
And Tosin, 4 people shot outside of a market on Mount Olive Road in Northeast. 1 man died, 3 others. 2 men and a woman remain in the hospital. 3 suspects got out of a black sedan, opened fire, then drove away.
And this comes after DC police responded to another shooting in that area this morning. Police found a man shot after arriving to the 1700 block of Benning Road, also in Northeast. This was at about 10 in the morning. Andre Wright with DC Police reacts to community concerns this afternoon.
But in the heat of the argument, whatever it is about, they introduce a gun into the equation and they fire, and it's irresponsible. And so we certainly understand the community's concerns.
Yeah, there was another shooting on Benning Road where 2 people were shot. Wright says that there will be extra patrols in the area as police continue to investigate today's shooting. He says that they're working to see if all of these shootings are connected.
And all of this comes after a violent weekend during DC's World Pride festivities. Police Chief Pamela Smith reports nearly 24 violent incidents across DC, including multiple shootings and stabbings. Smith says police made 15 arrests this weekend for assaults, fights, and other crimes. Some of those shootings and stabbings happened around Dupont Circle, the site of controversy heading into World Pride, as local and federal agencies they went back and forth over the decision to close and later reopen the historic park there. Ultimately, the park stayed open this weekend. Now, despite initial plans from DC Police Department and National Park Service to fence it off. They cited past violent incidents there during Pride celebrations. Mayor Muriel Bowser says today she's taking responsibility for reopening the park.
So anytime there is harm to someone, certainly I have some regrets, but I know that I was working very hard to balance what our community was calling for with our preparations, and that was the decision I made.
Police Chief Pamela Smith says she supported the mayor's decision and said the department moved resources around in order to respond to events near the park.
In Montgomery County, police say an 85-year-old bicyclist is dead after being hit by a car. Police say it happened on June 1st. On Bramblewood Drive, 85-year-old Joel Katz was riding his bike when he was hit by a car backing out of his driveway. Katz was taken to the hospital. Police say that he died Saturday from his injuries. It's unclear if any charges will be filed.
DC is getting ready for another big event weekend. You can see the fencing that's up around the ellipse.
Yeah, the Secret Service says that hundreds of thousands of people are expected to turn out for Saturday's parade celebrating the Army's 250th birthday.
And this event is expected to bring local air traffic to a halt and close streets along major cities.
Obviously, Tosin, preparations for this big event are underway. DC News Now's Randy Bass just got out of a briefing with the Secret Service, and we find her outside of the White House. Randy, a lot of coordination happening heading into Saturday.
Yes, both local and federal law enforcement agencies are preparing for an absolutely massive turnout for this parade. You can see some of these preparations already underway here. This fencing went up here around the White House earlier this morning, and authorities are warning anybody looking to travel through the district this weekend to be prepared.
We're preparing for an enormous turnout. Hundreds of thousands of attendees. We are deploying thousands of agents, officers, and specialists from across the country.
The Secret Service expecting a massive crowd for the parade, marking the Army's 250th birthday. This map from the U.S. Secret Service revealing the widespread road and pedestrian closures people can expect to see this Saturday around the White House and the National Mall. Those areas will be cordoned off with fencing, and all attendees will be screened through metal detectors.
The Secret Service and our partners want every attendee to be confident in their security and feel safe. That is why we are leaving no stone unturned.
The Secret Service says to expect to see 18.5 miles of fencing going up, some of that around the White House complex along 17th Street at the Ellipse and at Lafayette Square Park. The last of that fencing is expected to come down by June 19th. Large Army tanks and military vehicles for the parade seen moving into the district by rail over the weekend. Some of the areas along the parade route being reinforced by metal plates to get ready for that heavy equipment. People who spoke with DC News Now earlier today had mixed opinions about the upcoming parade.
I think it was something we did, but I guess we're doing it.
I'm just so happy, and I'm so proud of the military.
I don't think it should happen at all.
And DC Mayor Muriel Bowser sharing this message heading into another busy weekend.
So our public safety agencies are going to be called on for lots of work, lots of hours, and we're asking for everybody to heed their advice.
Now, when it comes to potential impacts to air traffic this weekend, we checked back in with both Reagan National Airport and the FAA today. No word yet on exactly how many flights may be impacted or when that ground stop-like closure surrounding the airspace of the airport may actually take effect on Saturday. They are encouraging everybody to check in with their individual airlines. If you believe your air travel plans may be affected, can also check in on those road closures in and around the White House on our website at dcnewsnow.com. In Lafayette Square Park, I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now.
This is the aftermath in Los Angeles. Cleanup underway there after protesters and authorities clashed over immigration raids. California's Attorney General Rob Bonta now suing the Trump administration for deploying hundreds of National Guard members over the weekend. Bonta calling it unlawful. Now, this right here was the scene over the weekend. Agents using tear gas, flashbang explosives, and pepper balls. Protesters throwing rocks and cement at Border Patrol vehicles and lighting cars on fire. Elected leaders trading blame. Trump's actions this weekend marks the first time a president has activated the National Guard against a governor's wishes since 1965.
Danger to our country and to our citizens will be very, very strong in terms of law and order. It's about law and order.
We'll have the latest on the tension between California and the Trump administration coming up in our next half hour.
It's not uncommon for an unexpected guest to show up at someone's home, but this guest, a little bit different than all the others, Tosin.
Quite different, Mark. A bear found its way through a Fairfax County neighborhood this morning. DC News Now's Dave Laval joins us from Herndon, where all the excitement happened.
I was just flabbergasted.
Not what Carol Hadlock expected to see at breakfast Monday. A young black bear found its way into the backyard of her home.
I just said, "Oh my gosh, there's a bear in the backyard." And then I went to tell my husband and I went to tell my daughter. And
Jay Hadlock says the bear seemed to have one thing on its mind.
He was obviously hungry. We watched him pull down our bird feeder and empty the seeds out. and he just sat there eating them.
While the Hadlocks watched through their windows.
We made sure we didn't bother him, and he didn't seem to notice us looking at him through our kitchen window.
The bear wore a tracking device, and according to the Maryland Department of Natural Resources, is likely the same one spotted in Bethesda last week. It had been relocated from Langley Park Memorial Day.
How he ended up in our little corner of suburbia is just a mystery.
The Hadlock's home is a nationally recognized wildlife habitat.
We always seem to get uninvited guests. We just had a groundhog in the yard a couple of days ago.
The bear went on its way after 20 minutes, leaving the Hadlocks and neighbors surprised by the unannounced visitor.
Definitely never imagined in all the years I've been here finding a bear to be a thing in Herndon.
Yeah, well, we're going to have much more coming up from Dave, who is in active pursuit of that bear right now.
If anyone can find that bear.